Hello again, YouTube. Constitutionality News here once again. I heard about this shooting several years ago. I remember reading about it, and I'll post part of the original video from 2014 here in a few minutes. But this officer is finally going to trial. It only took 4 years. What became of him in between then and now, I haven't been able to find out yet, but maybe some of you can help me out with this. Anyway, Jason Van Dyke is Officer Jason Van Dyke in Chicago. It says jurors are going to see an animated video of the officer fatally shooting Laquan McDonald. He shot this young man back in 2014. It took him almost a year just to release the dash cam footage. Actually, it took him a year. And now they're finally getting him into trial. This is the second day of his trial, I think. Anyway, let's read a little. It says Chicago. Lawyers for a white Chicago police officer who killed a black teenager presented an animated video to jurors on Tuesday that aimed to depict the officer's perspective during the shooting and support his claim that he feared for his safety when he shot Laquan McDonald 16 times. 16 times. A little overkill, if you ask me. Anyway, the prosecutors, meanwhile, focused on the video's apparent inaccuracies. The animated video is aimed at countering graphic police dash cam video that shows Jason Van Dyke shooting the 17-year-old McDonald as the teen holds a knife and walks away from the officers in 2014. Van Dyke continued to shoot for more than 10 seconds after McDonald crumpled to the street. Excuse me, like I said, overkill. The dash cam video released a year after the shooting is the centerpiece of the state's case against Van Dyke, but it was recorded from a different angle than Van Dyke's view, from the side of the officer behind McDonald. What the officer saw during the incident could be critical during his murder trial as jurors try to determine if it was reasonable for the officers to view McDonald as a threat. And I'll show you both pieces of video shortly, the new and the old. The animation, created for defense by California-based 3D Forensics, looks similar to a gaming video. At one point, it depicts a view as if a camera were hovering just over Van Dyke's shoulder. The officer figure shoots an animated figure representing McDonald, seems to look at the officer. The video also offers aerial and other views. Now, this animation video is not available to the public just yet. It's still in court. But if it becomes available, I'll try to get it and show it and post it as well. The company's CEO, Jason Fries, described to the jurors how it was made. When a defense lawyer asked Fries if the animation McDonald was closing the distance on Van Dyke, a prosecutor objected. The defense attorney rephrased the question. Fries responded, "Yes, our analysis demonstrates Mr. McDonald was getting closer to Officer Van Dyke." Now, the dash cam doesn't show that, but apparently they put it into this animated video. During cross-examination, prosecutor Marilyn Height Ross noted the animation depicts Van Dyke shooting just 5 times when there's no dispute that he fired 16 times. Ross also argued that a dark red line highlighting McDonald in the animation made him look taller than he was in real life. She suggested that lead defense attorney Dan Herbert was heavy-handed in how the animation should turn out. She asked Fries, he gave you specific direction about what he wanted you to do, correct? Fries denied that, but he did concede he relied entirely on information defense attorneys passed on to him in crafting the digital recreation. CBS Chicago reports that the prosecutors pressed Fries on the animation, saying it's not real. And there's Roseanne Tellez. Video recreation played prosecutors is not real, is it, expert? I don't know what you mean. It's just as real as a photo, I guess. Okay. He built the video, but he guesses it's just as real as a photo. The judge later recessed for the day. The defense will resume calling witnesses on Wednesday. CBS Chicago reports that outside of court, gang member turned activist William Calloway called for a gang truce ahead of any verdict in the trial. I want everyone in the city of Chicago to put the guns down. All the gangs inside the city of Chicago, I'm calling for a citywide peace treaty. We want the gangs to put the guns down and join our fight for social justice. It's unclear if Van Dyke plans to testify during the trial. His attorneys may see the animated video as a substitute for any direct testimony that would expose the 40-year-old officer to potentially blistering cross-examination by prosecutors in a case that has also put a spotlight on the Chicago Police Department. I think he ought to take a stand. They ought to get a chance to question him. And blistering or not, he needs to be questioned. Because, just because. I'm not going there. Earlier Tuesday, Van Dyke's attorneys called probation officer Dina Randazzo, who testified that McDonald had become combative during a juvenile hearing in August 2013. Okay, that ain't got nothing to do with this shooting, but whatever. The testimony came a day after 3 county employees told jurors about physical altercations with McDonald, who had slashed the tires of a police car before Van Dyke arrived at the scene of the 2014 fatal shooting. Okay, slashed tires. I watched the original video, which I'll post a portion of it here. Looked to me like he was trying to walk away, but y'all can you can watch the video and make up your own mind. Anyway, defense attorneys have focused on McDonald's behavior in past years and the day he was killed. Under Illinois law, defendants who claim self-defense can present evidence about the past behavior of the person they killed, even if they weren't aware of the history when the killing occurred. Prosecutors rested their case last week. Defense attorneys started presenting their case Monday. Okay. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but now this officer was charged with first-degree murder in this case. It took him 6 seconds once he arrived on scene, according to testimony, to look at this young man, who I think was 17 years old, I believe. Look at him, assess that he had a knife in his hand, probably ordered him to put the knife down, and then just shot him. I could understand 1 or 2 shots, but 16, absolutely overkill, absolutely unnecessary. In my experience, and now I've never been in police work or anything like that, but I have a little experience in these things. In my experience, if the officer is proficient enough with his firearm, a shoulder shot to disable, a leg shot to disable, is all well and good. I can understand that. But I cannot, for the life of me, understand shooting a man, no matter who he is, 16 times. The first couple of shots is going to put him on the ground. Why continue firing like that unless you're one scared rabbit? Anyway, that's all I got. Y'all are welcome to leave your comments. Be sure to smash that like and subscribe buttons. And we'll see you another day. This is Constitutionality News. We're out of here. Y'all have a good one. Bye now. What follows here is a portion of the original dashcam footage from the shooting of Laquan McDonald back in 2014. It took the city of Chicago a year to turn over this footage to the prosecutors, and it's taken them actually a total of 4 years to get Officer Van Dyke on trial. And he has been charged with first-degree murder in this case. But as I said, this is just a portion of the video. I didn't really want to post the entire 10 minutes of the car riding along the streets. Okay, here's the video.
Day 2 for the defense in the trial of police officer Jason Van Dyke. He is facing first-degree murder charges in the shooting death of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald. Today, Van Dyke's attorneys are hoping to show the jury a look at the shooting from the officer's eyes. CBS 2's Mike Puccinelli joins us live now from the Layton Criminal Court building with more on this. Good morning, Mike.
Hi. Well, a highly placed source tells me that that animation is likely to take up much of the time in trial today, but we do know that at least 2 defense witnesses will likely be called to the stand. One has already been called to the stand. That, as an ex-gang member turned activist, made this public call ahead of this potentially explosive trial.
I want everybody in the city of Chicago to put the guns down. All the gangs inside the city of Chicago, I am calling for a citywide peace treaty. We want the gangs to put the guns down and join our fight for social justice.
William Calloway is concerned that an acquittal for Jason Van Dyke could lead to violence if the veteran cop seen here this morning walking into court with his wife is not convicted of murder. Calloway wants an uprising, but he wants it to be peaceful. Van Dyke is accused of shooting the 17-year-old ward of the state, Laquan McDonald, nearly 4 years ago. That killing was, of course, captured on a police dashboard camera video. When a judge ordered its release, there were protests in Chicago and across the country. But Van Dyke says he was just doing what he was trained to do when he opened fire 6 seconds after arriving on the scene. His partner earlier testified that the video doesn't show what he and Van Dyke saw. But Calloway says no animation is going to change his mind about what Jason Van Dyke did on the night of October 20th, 2014.
The video shows enough for me and my community, and it shows enough that we the people of the state of Illinois feel that Jason Van Dyke is by far guilty of first-degree murder. We don't need to see any animation footage.
Now, the first witness of the day was Laquan McDonald's former probation officer. She was only on the stand for a few minutes, but she did talk about a time back in 2013 when Laquan was ordered into custody by a judge. She said at that point he immediately became combative because he didn't want to be locked up and started fighting with the sheriff's deputies on scene that day. Reporting live outside the criminal courthouse, Mike Puccinelli, CBS 2 News. Back to you, Marissa.
All right, Mike, thank you.